What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, there's an ancient intelligence operating inside your body that knows exactly how to heal you, and modern life has been systematically silencing it? Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, uncovered something that challenges everything we think we know about healing. He discovered that buried within every single cell of your body lies a secret physician, a natural healing power so profound that when activated, it can transform not just your physical health, but your entire psychological landscape. And here's what's shocking. Most people go their entire lives never accessing this incredible resource that's been inside them all along. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now think about this for a moment. Every single day, your body is performing millions of complex operations. Your cells are communicating, repairing, regenerating, fighting off threats, balancing systems you don't even know exist. But Jung realized something that modern medicine often overlooks. This cellular intelligence doesn't just maintain your body mechanically. It holds the key to psychological healing, emotional transformation, and a level of vitality that most people have forgotten is even possible. Has this ever happened to you? You wake up one morning feeling inexplicably different, clearer somehow, as if something inside you has shifted overnight. That's not random. That's your cellular intelligence trying to break through the noise of modern living. Jung spent decades documenting what happens when we create the right conditions for this inner physician to actually do its work. He called it activating the body's innate healing mechanisms, and what he observed was nothing short of revolutionary. When you give your digestive system a deliberate rest, when you pause the constant cycle of consumption that defines modern existence, something extraordinary unfolds at the cellular level. The energy your body normally spends breaking down food, processing nutrients, managing the endless input, suddenly that massive reservoir of life force gets redirected. And where does it go? Straight into cellular regeneration, deep repair. Work, clearing out debris that's been accumulating for years, resetting hormonal systems. And here's the part that fascinated Jung most: accessing hidden layers of consciousness that remain locked away during our normal waking state. This isn't some abstract mystical concept. Jung documented real, tangible transformations in people who understood how to work with their cellular intelligence. He identified what he called a sacred reset, a state where your body's self-repair mechanisms can finally operate without interference. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover about your own cells might completely change how you understand healing itself. Your cells aren't just biological machines following genetic programming. They possess an extraordinary wisdom, an inner knowing that modern life has been drowning out with constant stimulation, endless meals, and relentless consumption. And Jung found the key to awakening it. Now, I want to go even deeper into this revelation, because what Jung uncovered here transforms everything we think we know about why we suffer, why we struggle, and why certain patterns seem to control our lives, no matter how hard we try to change them. Here's the hidden truth that most people never realize. Your cells aren't just carrying physical toxins from poor diet or environmental exposure. They're actually storing your psychological history. Every emotion you've pushed down, every moment of grief you didn't allow yourself to fully feel, every burst of rage you swallowed because it wasn't the right time or place, all of that gets encoded into your cellular memory. It doesn't just disappear, it settles into your body, creating what Jung called the shadow, those hidden aspects of yourself that silently govern your decisions, your reactions, your entire way of being in the world. When you create the conditions for your cellular intelligence to activate, when you deliberately pause the constant consumption that keeps you distracted from what's really happening inside, something profound begins to unfold. All those destructive patterns you've been running from, all the emotional residue you've buried beneath food, entertainment, endless stimulation, it starts rising to the surface. This isn't comfortable. In fact, it can feel deeply confronting. But this is exactly where transformation happens. Your cells begin releasing not just physical debris, but psychological burdens that have been locked in your body for years, sometimes decades. The chronic tension in your shoulders, that persistent digestive issue, the unexplained fatigue, these aren't always purely physical problems. They're your body's way of speaking when your mind refuses to listen to what needs to be processed and released. If this type of deeper content resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe. You'll be joining people who think critically about health, psychology, and genuine transformation. Jung discovered something even more remarkable about this journey of cellular awakening. He found that willpower isn't some abstract mental quality you either have or don't have. It's actually a living force that operates at the cellular level. Modern lifestyle has systematically weakened our capacity for self-regulation. We've become so conditioned to reach for something the moment any discomfort appears. Food, our phones, substances, anything to fill the void, that we've lost the ability to simply sit with ourselves and feel what's actually happening beneath the surface. But when you engage your cellular intelligence with clear intention, when you consciously choose to feel hunger without immediately satisfying it, something shifts in your entire nervous system. You start noticing the impulses that normally control you without your awareness. That automatic reach for a snack when you're anxious or bored isn't really about hunger at all. It's your cells trying to avoid processing difficult emotions, trying to escape the very feelings that, if allowed to surface, could set you free. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to face what I've been avoiding." This is where Jung's work becomes absolutely critical, and it's a distinction that separates genuine healing from mere suffering. He witnessed something during periods of economic hardship that forever changed how he understood the relationship between consciousness and cellular function. When people were forced to go without food due to poverty or crisis, when hunger was imposed upon them by circumstances beyond their control, their bodies responded with deterioration. They weakened, their spirits broke, and the experience left deep scars. But here's the revelation that transforms everything. When that exact same physical experience, the absence of food, is chosen deliberately, consciously, with clear intention and awareness, the cellular response is completely different. Your cells don't interpret it as deprivation anymore. They receive it as a signal, a conscious command from your deeper intelligence to activate dormant restorative processes that have been waiting for permission to begin their work. Jung called this willing surrender, and it's one of the most powerful concepts he ever articulated. It's a psychological stance where you're not fighting against the discomfort of hunger, not viewing it as an enemy to endure, but consciously redirecting that sensation towards cellular transformation. Two people can abstain from food for the exact same duration, following identical protocols, and one will emerge with profound cellular renewal, psychological clarity, and a sense of vitality they haven't felt in years, while the other simply feels depleted and weakened. The difference isn't in the food they didn't eat, or the hours they counted. The difference lies entirely in consciousness, in the quality of attention they brought to the experience. Your mind and cells are in constant communication, sending signals back and forth in a dialogue you're rarely aware of, and the intentions you consciously set shape the biological response you receive at the deepest level. What's fascinating is how Jung completely dismantled the mechanistic approach that so many people still cling to today. He was emphatic about this truth. If you fast without psychological awareness, without actively engaging your cellular intelligence, without paying attention to what's actually happening beneath the surface, you're simply starving yourself. There's no therapeutic value in mechanical deprivation, in just going through the motions while your mind is somewhere else entirely. The real healing, the genuine transformation that Jung documented in countless individuals, emerges when this becomes an active practice. When you're simultaneously giving your digestive system rest and exploring what's unfolding at the cellular level. When you're listening to the signals your body sends. When you're present with the experience rather than just enduring it. Your body is fundamentally an organism of self-regulation and self-healing. The intelligence operating in your cells knows exactly what to do. It's constantly working to maintain balance, repair damage, optimize every system. But this cellular wisdom works best when we stop interrupting it with constant consumption and stimulation, when we finally create the space it needs to shift into high gear and redirect all those resources toward the deeper repair work that changes everything. Put in the comments, "I choose conscious healing." What Jung understood, and what makes his approach so revolutionary, is that this journey isn't about punishing your body or proving how tough you can be. He saw fasting as cellular training, a practice that simultaneously transforms both physical and psychological dimensions of who you are. He used to say something profound: what is mastered in the body may be mastered in the psyche. Think about what that really means. Every single time you feel hunger rising and you consciously choose to stay with that sensation instead of immediately reaching for food, you're not just exercising willpower in some abstract sense. You're literally strengthening a fundamental capacity within your cells. You're training your cellular systems to handle discomfort without collapsing into reactivity, without spiraling into panic or compulsion. This isn't about developing some cold, stoic indifference to your own needs. It's about cultivating the cellular power to make conscious decisions rather than being driven by every impulse that surfaces. As you develop this inner strength through intentional practice, something remarkable happens simultaneously at the cellular level. Those healing systems that have been suppressed and overwhelmed by constant consumption, by the endless cycle of eating and digesting that defines modern existence, suddenly have the space and resources they need to function optimally. The discipline you're building becomes the very doorway through which cellular healing flows, naturally, effortlessly, the way it was always meant to work before we buried it under layers of excess and avoidance. But here's where Jung's insight reaches its deepest level. And it's something that changes everything once you truly grasp it. You cannot separate your cells from your consciousness. They're not two different systems operating independently. They're woven together in a single, unified organism, constantly influencing each other in ways you've probably never considered. Your unresolved emotions don't just live in your mind as abstract thoughts or painful memories. They directly affect your cellular function. That physical tension you carry in your neck and shoulders isn't just muscular stress. It's storing psychological pain in your cellular memory. Those chronic health issues that won't respond to conventional treatment often have roots in experiences your cells have never fully processed, traumas and suppressions that got locked into your physical body because there was nowhere else for them to go. When you engage this practice with genuine psychological awareness, when you're paying attention to what's actually happening inside you rather than just counting hours or following rules, something profound begins to unfold. Invisible burdens start to release at the cellular level. Jung called this activation of the transcendent function, which is essentially your cell's natural capacity to heal by integrating opposing forces, by dissolving the divisions between what you show the world and what you've hidden in the deepest layers of your cellular memory. Much of what truly burdens us is completely invisible to others and even to ourselves. Unprocessed grief that you never allowed yourself to fully feel, suppressed anger that you swallowed year after year, shame that was never acknowledged or spoken. These emotional residues don't evaporate. They settle into your cells, creating tension, inflammation, dysfunction, manifesting as physical symptoms that seem to have no clear cause. Leave a comment saying, "My cells are ready to release." Jung had a brilliant way of making these complex ideas tangible, and one of his most powerful analogies was comparing this entire process to tuning an instrument. Your cells are constantly receiving signals, messages about what you actually need for healing, guidance from that deeper intelligence we've been talking about. But here's the problem that most people never recognize. When your system is cluttered with constant food intake, endless stimulation, the mental noise of modern living, these cellular signals become completely distorted. It's like trying to hear a specific voice in a room where 50 radio stations are blasting simultaneously. You might catch fragments, fleeting impressions, but you'll never hear the message clearly enough to actually act on it with precision and confidence. This is where the true power of engaging your cellular intelligence reveals itself. When you give your digestive system deliberate rest, when you consciously step back from that relentless cycle of consumption, the interference clears. The cellular signal strengthens dramatically. Your body's healing wisdom, which has been trying to communicate through your cells all along, suddenly becomes audible. You start perceiving what your organism actually needs, not what advertising has conditioned you to crave, not what habit mechanically demands, but what your deeper cellular wisdom is genuinely asking for. And this clarity isn't just some mental shift or psychological trick. It's fundamentally physiological. Your cells have incredibly intricate feedback systems, sophisticated mechanisms designed specifically to identify imbalances, detect what needs attention, and restore optimal function. But these cellular systems work at their highest capacity only when they have space to operate without constant interruption. What Jung emphasized more than anything else, and it's a truth that separates superficial practice from genuine transformation, is that this journey must serve life itself. It cannot become another form of escape or avoidance. He described the experience as a cycle with distinct phases that unfold naturally when you engage them with awareness. First comes purification, where your cells actively clear accumulated residues, both physical toxins and emotional debris. Then revelation emerges, where deeper truths about your cellular patterns, about the ways you've been operating unconsciously, become suddenly visible. This is followed by integration, where you consciously absorb these insights, allowing them to reshape how you think, how you respond, how you move through the world. And finally, there's renewed engagement with life, but now from a place of greater cellular wholeness, deeper authenticity, clearer alignment with who you actually are, beneath all the conditioning. If this shifted your perspective or gave you new insight, hit that like button. It helps this content reach others who are searching for exactly this. This isn't a one-time event you check off and move on from. It's a recurring process, a spiral that deepens with each cycle. Every time you engage your cellular intelligence in this way, you strengthen your capacity for living authentically. You activate more profound levels of your cell's natural healing wisdom, the secret intelligence that's been inside you since the moment you were born has always been there, patiently waiting for you to create the conditions for it to fully awaken and do what it was designed to do. Heal you from within, restore you to wholeness, reconnect you with the truth of what you're capable of becoming. Write in the comments, "I'm tuning into my cellular wisdom." If you've made it this far, I want to personally thank you. Not everyone has the patience or the genuine curiosity to explore these deeper dimensions of healing and transformation. The fact that you're still here tells me something important about you. You're someone who's actually ready to understand how your body and mind work together at the cellular level. Someone willing to look beyond surface solutions and engage with what truly creates lasting change. If this resonated with you, if something clicked into place while you were listening, I'd really value having you subscribe to the channel. This isn't just another collection of quick tips or trendy advice. We're building something here, a space where we explore the real mechanisms behind healing, consciousness, and human potential. The kind of content that actually shifts how you see yourself and what's possible for your life. And honestly, having you as part of this community makes all the difference. Before you go, drop a comment saying, "This message was meant for me." I read every single one, and it helps me understand who's connecting with this material, who's actually walking this path of cellular awakening alongside me. And if you found value in what we covered today, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a small gesture, but it tells me this type of deep, thoughtful content is what you want to see more of. And it helps others discover these insights too. Now, there's a video right here that takes this conversation even further into territory I think you'll find fascinating. It complements everything we just explored, and I believe you're going to find it incredibly valuable. Click and continue with me over there. Let's keep this journey going together.